I'm a Bushman conveyor.
Conveyor. Drive. No drive. Drive.
If you're replacing conveyor over a weekend for a quick retrofit, there are a lot of things you're going to have to get done before the weekend to make sure you get that end user up and running on time. Before I get to site, the first thing I like to do is create myself a cheat sheet. So I go over the entire drawing in great detail and then transfer everything onto my 8.5 by 11. And by the end of it, you familiarize yourself with the whole system, work out any questions you might have, or figure out details that might be missing on the drawing. I like to have every detail on the drawing so I can work off of this sheet rather than a big architectural drawing lugging it around. As you see, I put down the model, the mark number, the FO number, the footage, each bed length, the length of the tangents on either side of the curves, the direction of flow, the bed letters as labeled by the manufacturer, in this case Hytrol. We always create our own label system, so in this case it's as simple as groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each of these 5 lanes. Once you get on site, there are things you can do several days or a week before the project starts so that you can get prepared for both the installation and the demo. Label all your pallets. We like to put both the mark number and our group number. Throughout this phase of preparation, make sure all materials are on site and are the correct dimension. One time we had a job over a weekend and it turned out every single support was either the wrong width or too short. Fortunately, it was such a small project that we were able to scab the supports together with boards and make it work until we got the correct supports and get them up and running for the weekend. But if we had done prep work before the weekend, we would have caught that. Break down all your pallets, get all your packing material into the trash, and then get all your beds either laid out on the floor or stacked. As you're organizing things and taking things off of pallets, label the mark number on everything like belts, Easy Logic side frames, reflector rail, especially when it's a unique length, drive pans, chain guards, and any other unique part or bracket that comes off of a pallet. Label that mark number so you don't have to waste time later trying to figure out where it goes. Sort all your hardware. We like to set up a couple of pallets for workstations, and it's nice to not have to bend over every time you need to grab something off a pallet throughout the project. Pre-assemble things like guardrail offset brackets and guardrail couplers on the end of each stick of adjustable channel rail, including the shims. I didn't know what those offset shims were for until a couple months ago. We were always installing them flush and then flapper wheeling any catch points. I'm sorry, Hytrol, I'm still learning. We also like to separate all the electrical stuff like IOPs, power supplies, sort Easy Logic and T cables and cut all those wire ties off. Hey, no task is too small to get done before the weekend. It's got to be done at some point. Might as well peel your taters. Set all your supports to height and label any that go to a specific incline or decline. We like to keep our hardware away from the min and max slop on the support. That way later when you're leveling with your rotary laser and you're jacking it up or dropping it down, you don't end up running out of slop. The things you learn after doing it 1,000 times. Hey, this is annoying. I hate doing everything twice. Why don't we plan ahead next time? If you're installing on top of racking, you're going to have to tech screw it down temporarily and later weld. So go ahead and drill some 1/4-inch holes on the bottom of that foot plate and take off some of that powder coat so that you can weld easy later. Normally you'd set all the beds out in order on the floor, but if you don't have room for that, for example you're installing up on top of racks so you can't lay them out where it needs to go, you can stack all your bed sections in order of how you'll be using them and then label each bed with a number like bed 1, 2, 3, or 15, 14, 13, depending on which order you're installing from. And we like to label not only the bed, but the group it's in. So we'd label bed 15 sub 2, bed 14 sub 2, and then the 2 stands for the group number. It just makes things faster over the weekend rather than going by Hytrol's letter system of A, B, B, C, C, D. To prep an AC drive before the weekend, you can do stuff like setting chain tension. It always seems to come too tight from the factory. Remember, 1/4 inch of slop or 2% of the distance between the shafts. And then after you set the tension, remove the chain, get it out of your way. Check sprocket alignment with a straight edge. Make sure all your set screws are tight. Remove drive pan cover, turn pecker head on the motor if necessary. Here we made it easier on the electricians and the maintenance guys because all these lines are so close, so we pointed it down. But we're getting in the nitty gritty now. Replace that cap nut on Hytrol's chain guards with a 9/16 nut. I'm sorry, Hytrol. Function over fashion. I console myself with the knowledge that the maintenance man that doesn't have a 5/8 wrench in his back pocket won't be stabbing a voodoo doll with my name on it. Install that brass breather on the reducer only if you can install the drive in a level position and you don't have to turn it sideways to get into an oven or a paint booth. Remove end pulley covers anywhere two FOs bolt together and those plates don't need to be there. Create jigs for things like adjustable channel, guardrail after you know the height that each of your two tiers needs to be set at. This will make it quick to install and straight, perfectly straight. Install the air pipe system if that's in your scope. That about covers all the installation preparation. Let's talk about some demo preparation. Unanchor the entire system. If it's up on racking, you can probably get away with cutting alternate welds. Remove butt coupling hardware. You might have to take off Easy Logic side frames to get to it. Remove any extra support bolts like the ones you can't get to with an impact close to the middle of the seam. Then you're left with only 4 bolts in each bed for the weekend that you can get quickly with an impact. Then just wander around the system and try to take care of anything that might eat up time over the weekend. Getting rid of hardware that's stripped out or bolts that you can only get a wrench on. Drill holes in the center of each bed so you can quickly rig up at center of gravity with your eyelets. You kept those new pallets for demoing conveyor on. You might want to scab a couple of those together and screw some sides on for demoing guardrail and such. And if you're really on top of your game, before electricians kill power for the weekend, you go over there and run that conveyor until lacing's up on top in an easy access place and then kill it with your disconnect. So that about covers everything I'd do for preparation before a weekend retrofit. I like to go a little crazy with it, so I'm certain that we'll get done on time and we won't slow those electricians down.
Join Velocity. As an employee here, you will get sworn.